That sentence is worse.
Mm-hmm. Keep digging a hole. Go for it.
I'm gonna keep. You know what, Ryan? Don't edit any of that out.
Yeah. This is Lauren puts her foot in her mouth. The podcast.
Yeah.
Everybody, come on! It's time to listen. Get together. The show's about to begin. Bring your friends and your cows and all your chickens. Here we go again. Time to laugh and maybe even learn something. Oh, who am I kidding? You're not gonna laugh. Either way, it's time to get started with the Sundial Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the 13th episode.
Oh, we're dating? You told me the last one not to number them just in case they get rearranged.
This one won't, though.
Oh, this one won't? I thought the 2 times ago we were in 12th, and so we just skipped 12 again. Or we're skipping 13 twice. It's a fun numbers game that we're playing here on the podcast.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And people have no clue who I am. I'm James Wagner. I am the second most important in the Sundial, the webmaster. I'm in charge of the website.
And I am Lauren Meliterno, editor-in-chief. I am the only one who actively works with the website.
Hey, I put a Twitter module on there once, which also tells you how much I work on the website, because they're called widgets, not modules.
Yeah, we only know that because I was working on the website.
No,
a different website.
Yeah, and I've only worked a few times on the website as my 2-year stint as the webmaster. This is the podcast you guys finally get to hear the juicy details
of the website. But Travis wouldn't give me, our PR chair wouldn't give me the information for the Twitter. Like, I wasn't able to contact him yet. So I just put my Twitter on the Sundial website for a few hours. So that was a real fun time for me. Didn't really get any extra traffic on my Twitter, but it was a fun time. I think Travis tried to make it a PR event where he's like, uh-oh, somebody's taken over the Sundial website. And then I changed it to the Sundial Twitter. Oh, Travis trying to capitalize on...
Yeah, mistakes. But no. So yeah, that's my one fun story of being webmaster.
That's it? You only have one?
Yeah, I think, well, as the year winds down and my time as webmaster is coming to a close, I think it was finally time for me to tell you guys some fun webmaster stories.
The 13th episode, we finally cracked it.
Yeah, we finally got to it. It's like the series of unfortunate events. It finally gets really boring in the 13th one.
So today we have 2 members of Buckeye Standup Comedy Club. First off, we have the marketing director, Evelyn Troutman.
Hey.
Hi, Evelyn.
I don't know what else to say.
She is also pretty much the head organizer of our upcoming variety show, which we're probably going to talk a little bit about throughout. And the host of said show is also with us. That's Ian Gray.
Hey.
Welcome to the program, Ian.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is exciting. We don't I was going to say we don't collaborate on here often, but we have been.
We have. More recently, we have been. It's something that we wanted to do, but that we're finally actually being able to do.
Yeah.
Because as much as it is fun to talk about the Sundial to basically people that are in the Sundial, it gets a little boring after a while. So we get to move on to some new people, some fresh faces that you guys get to hear and not look at.
You're not going to quiz us about, like, articles you guys have written?
No.
Okay.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That would be fun.
What was posted today?
Yeah, guys, what was posted on the website today? I couldn't answer that.
I could. Because guess who's in charge of the website?
Me, the webmaster. There's no transition out of that.
No, there's not.
There's not a single transition. Why don't we just start talking about what we were talking about beforehand, which is SNL.
Oh, yeah, we were going to talk
Ian noticed that Lauren is drinking out of a sweet, sweet Live from New York mug. So, Ian, why don't you continue with what you were saying before?
I just want to know her thoughts on SNL. If she had a favorite era, or if she thinks,
Well, like, as, like, a writer and also someone who started a sketch group at Ohio State, like, sketches are always, like, have been really interesting. It's always been, like, my goal / like, dream to work for SNL. But, like, I still haven't forgiven them for, like, having Donald Trump on last year. I refused to watch that episode. I think it's kind of... It hit a slump, but I think it's kind of on the rise at this point.
Yeah, I
personally
agree. I thought, like, 2008, when I was young, I guess, and idealistic, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And then, in, like, the early 2010s, I thought it took a big dive in quality. And just recently, with, like... I just think the election they've done really well, and just the periphery topics around that they portrayed really well. I think the quality's gone a lot better.
I've always compared SNL to like apple pie, like apple pie is nobody's favorite dessert, but it's still like America's dessert. And so it's like America's sketch show that it might not always be the best show. They are doing it every week.
But sometimes you get a great piece of pie.
But sometimes you're just like, you know what? I really wanted a nice piece of apple pie. And it's just what you do. And when you're younger, too, like for me, it's the exact same thing. Whereas like when I was in late middle school, high school, SNL was the best thing ever. And I think we also have this patience when we're younger for not as good sketch comedy. We like it because it's like, oh, they're doing a goofy thing. But now that we're a little bit older, and maybe we've read into comedy stuff, we're like, oh, nah, that wasn't really as funny as I had thought. So I think that's part of it, is that when you're little, you're just ready for anything that's sketch.
Yeah. What I also think is cool in, like, current SNL is that women are, like, pretty much running the show over there. Like, Kate McKinnon and Cecily Strong and Adie Bryant. It's just, like, there's so many, like, prominent women on the show now.
Yeah, I think
it's really cool, obviously.
I don't think there's a leading man of SNL. Usually it's like, oh, the person you go watch for is like Bill Hader, going back Jimmy Fallon, or
like Bobby Moynihan was that for a little bit, but he's kind of been dipping out. I mean, Keenan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's Keenan.
Here's where we take bets. When is Keenan ever going to quit?
I think he was like 2 years away from being like the longest.
Yeah, he has to beat Daryl Hammond.
Yeah. So at least then. I think it might be like at the end of the season that I think like he hit it.
Yeah, I think this season he ties Daryl Hammond or something like that. Like, he's real close.
But also, I think, didn't he mention when he was here that he's like, I mean, they pay me, I don't care.
Yeah, that he's basically on because he is a permanent slot on, basically.
Yeah.
Evelyn, what's your SNL opinion?
Do you watch it?
I don't watch it a lot. I guess the one thing I would say is, like, they're kind of like the designated, like, court jesters in a sense, because like I feel like at this point they're really the only people who can make fun of Trump and actually have it be successful, because like anybody else who tries to, I mean, I guess you can make a Trump joke, but like that's just it's such an easy target that like I mean, I think when SNL does it, it's kind of like their job to make fun of the president, so like it's not as cringeworthy as it would be if like another group was trying to do it.
We had Fishbowl on the podcast about 2 months ago, and they were like, sometimes we'll get Trump as a suggestion for an improv, and they said that this year, since the election, they're like, we've just decided to take a no on all of that, because they're like, one, we don't really want to, and two, it can feel so hacky at a point that it's such an easy thing that somebody just pulls out a Trump impression and goes for it, and then it's like, what is it really doing at that point? It's when it's just like, is it trivializing? Is it just not even effective? You know, all this sort of things that you have to think about. And so that's why I think Fishbowl has said that they are like, we're just going to avoid that in general. And I also like what you said about court jesters, because NBC uses SNL as a like farm league for talent. That once somebody gets popular on SNL, NBC will pull them out and have them do all sorts of stuff and be like, ooh, this fun person from SNL. And sometimes they'll pull people. I'm like, does anybody know who this is? Like, they used to pull Kate McKinnon before she got real popular. And I was like, does anybody know Kate McKinnon enough for this to be a cool pull? Besides people that watch SNL. But SNL, when they were pulling her real early, it was getting some real low numbers. I think they had their lowest ratings ever on like 3 years ago, and they got like a 1.7, which is super low for SNL. So, so it's real. So SNL has had some dips and takes. How do you guys feel about, I know you, Evelyn, you don't really necessarily watch, but when stand-ups host SNL?
I thought like Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K.'s hosting.
This Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday. I think they do great.
Mm-hmm.
I think stand-up comedians have great like comedic acting. So.
Yeah, I always like when I know when a stand-up's going to be on, because I know the monologue is going to be like an actual monologue instead of it being like, oh, guess who's up on stage? Bobby Moynihan.
Or singing.
Or they sing, yeah. So I really like when a stand-up will host, because you also know that they have comedic background.
Yeah.
And they aren't just the person who won the Super Bowl.
It also helps the whole, like you were saying, like it's every week, but like getting actual comedians in there puts a load off the writers who don't have to write a full show every week. Or at least, like coming up with the ideas. So it's like, it just makes it a little bit more fresh, I think.
Do you aspire to be a writer or a cast member?
See, like, I never used to, like, perform. My first performance was, like, a year ago, ever. So beforehand it was, like, just primarily writing, but so performance is, like, a new thing for me. So, like, beforehand I, like, always aspired to just be a writer, but now it's more of, like, I'm open to more than that. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's weirdly enough for me, it's the opposite, that I've always been a real performing person. And then when I started writing when I was in college, I was like, oh, that feels like I would enjoy that sort of thing, that I wouldn't be the face of something, that, like, you could watch a sketch online, somebody nail the written part perfectly, and they still get a bunch of shit for it not being a good sketch. When in fact it was like, well, maybe it wasn't just well written, and I think that's something I would like to avoid, be able to hide behind stuff, and not necessarily have that very front-facing. And it's not like writers of SNL are the interior court jesters in terms of just getting pulled. It seems like every week you read an article about SNL writer getting a new show.
Yeah. I also think at least personally I've noticed, I don't know if I'm just following the right people on Twitter or something, but I'm noticing more writers in SNL and stuff that are getting credit for their sketches that aren't performers.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a culture thing of, like, the actual people in SNL, or if that's just, like, a general, like, people want to actually start to know,
like, who's writing these. Yeah. It also helps because, like, I follow, like, Britannic, like, those people, and, like, those guys, and, like, they got hired, so, like, they'll tweet about writing for SNL, so I think I just have more of an in. But I remember, like, I think it was, like, last year, there was a sketch that was really popular, and people were, like, tweeting Streeter from College Humor. Well, now he's a writer for SNL. Yeah. But, like, they were, like, tweeting him, like, oh, congratulations on this sketch that you wrote. And I was like, oh, wow, like, he actually got, like,
recognition for writing the sketch.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool, that writers are starting to get more credit.
Yeah.
As a writer, I think that's cool.
So you guys, we'll get into some of the more stand-up part, which is where you guys are a little bit more knowledgeable. So since we're talking about writing, what is writing practice / methodology for stand-up? Because we've talked how people write for just for sketch and for essays and stuff like that for, like, Sundial, but we haven't really talked about writing things for stand-up.
I mean, I guess I don't formally sit down to actually write material a lot. Usually jokes will just kind of come to me, like, randomly, and then I'll try to, like, jot them down. But I do, like, if I'm feeling inspired, I will try to actually sit down and, like, maybe rework a joke, or, like, see if I can add on anything. It's kind of like with school, like, I do better with deadlines. Like, if I know I have, like, a contest coming up or, like, a show, then I'll kind of, like, get in the zone and, like, be able to, like, come up with stuff, just, like, rehearsing and, like, adding in new stuff. I mean, I think everybody has different methods, but mine's not, like, super regimented just because it's hard with school and stuff. Like, I think once I graduate, like, I think I'll be able to spend more time with writing. But, yeah, that's just kind of my technique.
Mine's kind of regimented in, like, the worst possible way, in that at least, like, half my jokes come at, like, 1 a.m. when I'm in bed, and I just shoot up because my, like, sleep-deprived brain, like, makes a mistake, and then I'm like, oh, that's funny, and then I, like, write it down in the notes on my phone, and then I'll actually sit down and write it in the daytime.
Yeah, like, sleep deprivation is weirdly consistent theme in a lot of, like, things that like, for the last show that we had for Backburner, both of my sketches were written while I was having a fever dream, and I was also super sleep deprived. So it was like my mind was going crazy, but I was thinking of all these sketches that I would never think about when I was just, like, in a normal mindset. So I definitely know what that's like.
And also we have weekly meetings for working jokes, and then besides, like, formally, people, like, ask for advice, but everyone's kind of, like, riffing off each other and trying to be the funniest person there, and so that's also really weird.
Yeah, welcome to the other comedy org meetings. Everybody's got to outdo each other in a bit. It's a great time.
Yeah.
So what are those? So besides trying to outdo each other, what is like actually workshopping a joke like? Because I know you guys.
I wanted to ask like how you run, like how your meetings are run and stuff.
Well, usually there'll be like a couple announcements at the beginning. Like Lacey will tell us an update about something random, and then
like, so my shoe was untied today, and I didn't notice. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Not that announcement. Never mind.
We had Richard said things like that.
Really?
Oh yeah, Richard Radis. He never came to a meeting though. That was just in the group.
He did come to 2 meetings.
2?
2 meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, R.I.P. Richard.
Can we take a small break to talk about comedy group me's?
Yes.
And how both awful and weirdly fantastic they are.
The group me is my life. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's this one thing. It's like, okay, confession. I've had the back burner group me muted for a while, but I'll check it about like at night. Like I'll just kind of like go through it, and we used to have a official group me that we had everything ran through, and we had to say, we can't have an official group me unless we have an unofficial one.
Because people were guilty, but people kept having like really long drunk conversations in our group me, and so then people had it muted, and then someone was like, "Hey, we have a meeting tonight." No one would see it
because everyone's like, "Oh, everybody was drunk last night."
Yeah, so we had to like make a separate one and be like, "All right, unmute the other one."
Yeah, but no, it's
and now there's like half of the people aren't even in Backburner that are in the unofficial group me.
Yeah, we just did that.
Yeah,
really?
That's like the exact same thing happened to us, except like people aren't drunk and do that. People just do that constantly,
right?
Which is awesome. We have a lot of inside jokes because of it. It's pretty great, and you can like roast people too. It's actually pretty good practice for like being mean and stuff. But
yeah,
you need practice for that.
Yeah, which is good if you're a comedian. But yeah, I don't know. The group me gives me life, so that's pretty cool.
I think a lot of times it helps to like feel more of like a sense of community in the group. That like if I have a random thought at like 3 a.m. I could post it and like someone will respond. That's not really about community, but whatever. But like you get to know people more than, because we just have weekly meetings, so like you get to talk to the people more.
Yeah, and our weekly meetings are pretty like, we'll go for 2 hours and then it's done.
Yeah.
Like there's not a whole lot of, we do start a little bit late on purpose because people will trickle in and we also just want to hang out. But it's very like, it's not ran efficiently. I will not admit my meetings aren't ran efficiently, but they're ran with, so it's hard to necessarily, if you don't know anybody, to actually talk to people. So I think the group me, we try to add people to the group me as fast as possible.
Yeah. But I always ask first before adding them into I'll add them to the real one. I'm like, no, do you want added to the unofficial one? It's a lot.
It's a lot all at once.
Yeah. Because there's bits that people do, and regardless of if there's new people in there, they're just going to keep doing the bits, and then it might just be like, what is happening? What were we talking before group me, though?
The workshops.
Oh, yeah. So workshops, then, I mean, basically somebody will just ask, like, does anybody have anything they want to work on? And then we'll just, like, take turns. You'll go out for, like, 5 or 10 minutes and just, like, do some jokes, and people will give you feedback and, like, offer, you know, additional taglines. Sometimes we get into debates about, like, stuff, but it's all, like, playful. So
yeah, a lot of like comedy theory debates, like a why you said the joke that way or something else.
No, it's usually about stuff like Ticonderoga pencils or what is a word book, or it's
no.
Yeah,
I think the specific like sequential of what happens at every meeting procedure is that one person, Ricky, will say, "So who's got jokes?" And then, and then 4 people will like meekly raise their hands and be like, "Well, I don't want to go if you want to go." And then like they'll all get bullied into going up, and then we'll run out of time because that after the ice is broken, everyone wants to go.
Yeah.
And then
nobody really wants to go first because they're like, it's not going to be good enough. It's gonna, and then when they're like, oh, other people are actually workshopping jokes, like they aren't complete jokes, then they'll go up and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So is it like they go up and like tell the joke as if they were performing it?
Yeah, some people use we were trying to get people to use the eraser as like a pretend mic. just to get people in the habit of holding a mic, but people stopped doing that.
I think Christian's the only guy that does that.
Yeah, Christian's the only one who does it anymore, and he's also the person who has, like, the worst mic habits, because he'll hold it, like, 2 feet away from his face and, like, gesture with it and stuff, but... So I guess it's good that he's still doing that then, but
I think it's not good practice because he also flings the eraser around all over the air, just gesticulating, you know.
Yeah. He's just too animated, but I don't know where I was going with that.
Sometimes you do writing exercises where we'll all like write a topic on a piece of paper, like a silly topic, and then mix them up, and then you'll have to write a joke about what you got. We once did insecurities where everyone wrote an insecurity on a piece of paper and we mixed them up. And wrote jokes about the insecurities. That was fun.
Oh, I don't
kind of like the basis of comedy. You might not have been there, but it was like...
I think that was the one meeting that I missed. Phew.
Yeah, it sounds like a deep one. Not deep.
It was very funny. We have a lot of tall women in our org. I think above average. Yeah, like Audrey and Emily, and like just there were a lot of ones that are like I'm self-conscious because I'm so much taller than so many guys, and then a guy gets it and he has like no idea what to do. But
man,
that was a fun meeting.
Yeah, I was actually complaining the other day that I wasn't tall enough because I'm lanky, but I'm not like fun lanky where I'm both tall and lanky. I'm just like average size and lanky. So I'm just like I'm not even in the cool string bean club. I'm in like the junior string bean club.
You can only aspire.
Yeah, like I can reach the top shelf, but not in like a comedically easy way. Like I still have to stretch for it.
Like you don't have to bend down.
No.
That is an annoying part about open mics, is that the mic stand varies in height so greatly between everyone.
Yeah. I would say personally I'm just like a not smooth person. So like taking a mic off a stand is always like oh no. It's like a point of anxiety for me. It's like am I gonna drop it or am I not gonna get it off or something? But
you get used to it, but
yeah.
That still trips me out sometimes.
Yeah, although I don't think I've ever told a joke into a mic that was still in the mic stand.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done that.
Yeah, that would feel weird. That feels like I have very limited stand-up experience, but I've done performances with mics and stuff like that, and it just makes so much more sense to just hold it rather than having it in the stand and just telling into that. But I understand why some people will do that.
I close every set. My very last joke, I put it back in the thing so I can just walk off smoothly. But some people have bits that require both hands. Mm-hmm. Like Alex has a joke where he counts to 3 like this, and so he needs both hands.
Yeah.
For those in the audience, I raise 2 fingers on one hand and the other.
Yeah. So for those who aren't watching the podcast, which is everybody.
Hopefully.
Yeah, unless you're watching again.
Maybe the government's watching.
Maybe we should do one that's all video and no audio, so they're all visual jokes.
But I was gonna say, is it just us sitting in a room
and just doing pantomime humor? It'll be a grand old time.
Glad you came up with that idea.
Yeah, we're gonna do that for our final episode. Oh, we should have done that for April Fools. Next year.
Neither of us will be here April 1st next year.
Do you guys, because I personally don't care for April Fools anymore. What are your guys' opinion on April Fools?
I hate it.
Hate it?
Yeah, same.
Because I always fall for it, and so I feel like an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, my friends aren't really like pranksters, so... And I think, which is weird because now all my friends are basically comedians, but I think comedians are kind of over it. Like, they tell jokes every day, so they don't need like a special designated day to be like, ho-ho.
Yeah, I typically try to like avoid any kind of prankster in my life. Mm-hmm. You technically pulled.
I did technically. It was incidental that I did. So my birthday was on April 2nd. So we get to date this podcast. My birthday was on April 2nd, and so on that Saturday the 1st, me and my girlfriend wanted to do a surprise party, and so we did a double surprise party where I knew ahead of time, and so she invited everybody to my house, and we're like, all right, I want to get James to leave, and then I'll get him to come back, and then at like a certain time, he's going to open the door, and you all yell surprise, but the entire time, I was hiding in the closet while everybody was getting to the party. And so when she's like, all right, he's going to be here any moment, they're all looking at the door, and I come out of the closet and I yell surprise.
So that was on April Fool's Day.
But it happened to be on April Fool's Day, so some people were like, oh, good April Fool's joke. I'm like, oh, no. I'm my own worst enemy. The part that I don't really care about April Fool's Day is like when tech companies or websites will do like a fun April Fool's gag. Like, I'm over it at this point. Like 2006 was the last time I really cared about an April
There
Fool's
was
prank
one-
online.
This year it was a hot dog like smoothie or like a hot dog water martini or something
I
like
saw
that.
that, yeah.
And everyone kept posting it and was like so mad about it. And I'm like, guys, look at the date.
Yeah.
This is not real. No one's gonna drink like hot dog water.
I don't know if you guys follow Nihilist Arby's on Twitter, but they had a pretty good April Fool's Day tweet where it just says Arby's cares. I love that account.
Alright, so this is more of like a personal thing because I saw you post about it on Facebook, but like you mentioned how during the Dan Min show you had to like change jokes mid-set.
Yeah.
And so like I just like, since that's a very specific thing to stand up is like you can edit your set while you're doing it. Like for sketches you can't really do that and stuff like that. So I think that would be like an interesting thing to talk about is like how often, I don't know, does that occur? Or like what's going on in your mind? Because I feel like if you're not comfortable with like your material or something that could be like nerve-wracking.
Yeah, especially for a big show like Min's, like you really don't want to go over your time, or like a contest, like, you know, like you can't go over your time or else you'll get disqualified, but you know, usually those shows have bigger audiences, so like it's harder to predict how long people will laugh at jokes. So I used to really struggle with it because I mainly always told stories and like really long jokes that were like 3 minutes at least.
Mm-hmm.
And so recently I started like writing like shorter jokes. So I did have some for Min's show, and I purposely like made it a mixture so that I could, you know, like mid-set always like cut out just like a shorter joke if I had to. But I timed it out pretty well, so like I knew pretty much what I was gonna say, but I kind of had like in my back pocket like another joke I could throw in, but I didn't end up doing that because
I know like for your set specifically you had like a pretty sizable applause break. Probably cut into your time a little bit, which is like a good problem to have, I guess, but probably like a oh no, I have to like reword what I'm saying kind of thing.
Yeah, I had a couple applause breaks, which is really weird. I've never gotten an applause break before, and I had like 3 that night. But it's cool because when you have that many people, like that's like applause breaks are actually possible. Like you know?
Like normally like a show at Donato's, like maybe it's like a couple people will clap at a joke, but it's not like the whole place normally erupts. Kind of like the same atmosphere, because just like the whole feeling of the room at Dan Mintz was like really cool, and like I was just an audience member, but that was like a really cool thing to just like be there for, especially seeing like everyone perform that like I've seen perform in the Donato's basement like a million times. So it was like really cool like seeing the same jokes be told, but like just the crazy amount of laughter because there's 700 people there.
Yeah.
It was insane. But like just like the whole energy was really cool. I felt like it was like special. Like I've never really been to like a student run show that like felt like that. It was really cool. Congratulations on that show, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was an incredible experience. Like,
it was a resounding success, I think.
Yeah. Because I had like a lot of non-comedian friends that like don't come to our shows ever. Were like there. I was like, whoa.
Also, why?
Also, fuck you.
Yeah, come to our show.
Yeah. So that was just really cool. That was a cool show. But yeah, I saw that you post about like changing your set, and that's just like because like obviously sketches you don't like drop a joke because it would fuck everyone up. Because like normally when I memorize sketches, I memorize just what I say after someone else says a line. I mean, probably shouldn't do that, but
it's fine.
It's fine.
So something that's kind of the linkage between us doing sketch and you guys doing stand-up is improvising during your performance. How do you guys feel about improvising?
It's when you first start, it's definitely the hardest thing to do, but it's also the most rewarding thing when you do it well. You feel, it's just so rewarding. In terms of like crowd work and things like that, I think being able to respond to the crowd is a really important skill to have, and not one that I have great personally, but hosting helps a lot with that.
Yeah.
Because the host is kind of like the liaison between the audience and the comedians, and so that's a good position to be in.
Yeah, I recently hosted a show, and I 100%, like 2 days ago, and I definitely feel that I could see where that linkage is done with hosting, because you have to kind of think of something to say between each person, and if you don't know the next person real well, you have to think of something anyway.
Yeah,
and so I definitely,
funny guy,
Yeah, all these great things that I felt deep in my heart about you, Ian. But just somewhere the Lord shone down on me.
Also, when you introduced me, you said I was editor-and-chief.
Yeah, you were both.
That's not what my title is.
It's editor-in-chief. It's apostrophe and apostrophe, standing for and. Not in, and.
Alright, when you said that, I was, like, worried that, like, we've been doing... I say my title every single time. It's like, you had no idea what it was.
Wait, it's editor-in-chief?
Yeah!
Whoa!
Mind blown.
Mind blown.
What were we talking? Improvising.
Improvising. Now, Evelyn, do you do any improvising during your sets, or?
I do. Like, I mean, it's hard to do at mics because mics are pretty unpredictable in terms of, like, audience and who's going to be there, but if I'm doing, like, a show, I'll try to, like, take something about the show, like, if I know my parents are going to be there, or if I know what kind of people are going to be in the crowd, like, I'll try to figure out how I can throw in, like, a very specific tag into, like, my jokes that that I could only do for that show, because that makes it more interesting for me too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you're doing the same material over and over again, and that way each show is pretty unique, and it gives you good practice of, like, thinking on your feet. So that's what I try to do. But I agree, it's like like you said, it's the hardest part, but it's also, like, the most rewarding.
It's easy to build it into your set too if you have a joke where you ask an audience member a question, and then based on their response you can riff off that, especially if you plan out what they'll probably say, like things they could say before, and then it's not really improv, but the audience thinks it is. So
yeah, it's interesting that you guys say you have to you have to figure out how to really do it, when to use it, because that's something we've kind of seen in sketch, where some people, they will not get off script at all. They are going to be line for line, this is what exactly I say, how I say it, and then there are some people...
And so, then, like, I've noticed with those people is that, like, if I'm in a sketch with them and I kind of, like, paraphrase a line, it messes them up, because they have memorized the entire sketch, and if I didn't say my line right, I mean, I, like, got... like, whatever I was supposed to say across, but it wasn't, like, word for word, then, I mean, I'm thinking specifically of Philly Fresh.
Yes.
Because he gets really, like, flustered a little bit, because he just memorizes it
word for word.
Yeah, very directly.
And he'll perform the same sketch the exact same way, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
You love having that consistency.
Like, even in rehearsal, like, so he was in a sketch where he had, like, was coughing, like, his character was, like, dying, actually. But he was, like, coughing a lot, and we had rehearsed it a lot the night before, so he was just rehearsing it, and then he started doing, like, instead of actually, like, ruining his voice and coughing the whole time, he was just like, cough, 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 cough. But he did it in the exact same intonation as, like, his coughs, and it was, like, insane.
And, like, the exact same pattern. Like, he practiced coughing in the sketch.
And it was just like, how are you that, like, specific?
And so you have people like that are very online, and then you have people who are opposite, who, I'm definitely guilty of it a lot, where I know my lines, and it's not a problem of, like, memorization, it's a problem of, like, I've ran this sketch 4 times already, and I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, there's some members that will try to improvise through sketches, and then just have jokes just not land, because they're trying to be funny during the sketch, and it's the exact same thing where you have to just know sometimes when, nope, you don't need to improvise, just say the line and move on. So it's interesting that there's that similarity between the two.
For sure. And a lot of times, in that regards, if there's an elephant in the room, something you have to address.
Yeah.
If you can't address it, then it really shows that you don't know how to interact with the audience.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if there's something that happens, like, we did a kind of a sketch, more of a performance thing, for the first show of the year, where it was almost all, like, we had written down stuff, where it's almost all audience participation. And so for that one, I was doing it. I had to know, okay, I have to be able to control this crowd by myself, just talking to them for 15 minutes. We realized that sketch was about 5 minutes too long, and that the last 5 minutes we really lost. The part that really lost the crowd is when I tore up a $1 bill, which is apparently a federal crime.
Oh, really?
And the audience
turned against us.
did not like that. I thought that'd be like a fun gag. We're like, oh, he ripped up, because I was like, this is the prize that I have for, because we had contestants up for like a game show. I was like, this was the prize, but you guys all tied, so I just ripped up the $1 to give them each a third, like in a cartoon or a TV show. And as I was tearing, the audience was like, oh, no. And, like, it was silent for the rest of, like, me explaining, like, what's going to happen next. And I was trying to do these little bits and gags, and they were just, like, not having it.
They were like, that man's a felon.
That man we're not going to associate that. Like, people were signing affidavits that I had done it.
Yeah, there's also, like, kind of, not really similar, but, like, at the beginning, I written sketch show, so, like, different, but, like, a sound effect went off right in the beginning part, and so I didn't obviously I couldn't really fully react to it, but I was like, oh, and then people laughed because they were like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. But there was no way to improvise around that. That was just more of just an uncomfortable thing that happened.
So we had asked this the podcast before. We had people who were stand-ups, and we asked them their worst performance story. And so I think that the traditional question is always, what's the worst you've ever bombed? So I want to hear these.
I think I have two answers. First, the worst I've ever done is when the Red Cross asked us to perform in a blood drive. Except I thought it would be indoors. It was actually outdoors.
Oh.
And it wasn't to the people giving blood. It was to the people in line for chili that had already given blood.
Oh my gosh.
And the people in line for chili were facing the opposite direction.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was performing to the backs of people in chili, getting chili, and then to random passersby trying to get into the union. And so, and they also had content restrictions. They told us about, as soon as we were about to go on, saying oh, you can't swear, you can't do this and that. And so I planned to do a bunch of blood-related humor for the blood drive. And most of those jokes, I realized partway through telling them, was oh, I can't finish this joke. And so I would just cut out. And so it was definitely the most confusing set to listen to and to perform. And
that sounds horrible.
And then I just got off, and then I think only two of us decided to actually go up.
Yeah, I opted out of that experience. I was there, though. I couldn't hear you, but...
Yeah, and it was windy.
Oh, I'm guessing I know. It was the blood battle. Was that the one?
Blood battle. That's why we lost, actually. It was because of my performance.
People were going to get blood, and they're like, ooh, I wish this guy would just finish his jokes and just turn around and grab a coney and walk away. Because I have multiple times grabbed a coney from the blood battle thing and walked away. I know exactly where, the place that you're talking about. Every year it seems to be cold and windy for that. I'm so sorry for you.
And then the other show was at Scarlet and Gray, where...
I walk past. I live near there. It's so terrifying.
I went there, and I was performing to an audience of 2 who were at the bar facing away from me. And the bar staff was, disappeared. And so there were 2 people, in the building.
Wow.
And they were talking to one another. And so I was talking to an empty room.
Why were you there by yourself?
I think
this?
Is this if a tree falls in the forest situation where if a guy doing stand-up, if nobody's there, does it actually happen? You're there to prove a point?
I was almost laughing at how sad the whole situation was. And so I enjoyed it more than I've enjoyed other sets that have been, to 10 people maybe, but... Yeah, all my friends, all Ricky and Bobby and a bunch of people were there, and I think they left to go get food at that time.
Oh man!
So I was alone.
They're hey man, how was your set? You're nobody knows.
It was great.
Oh, killed. 80 people walked in and then walked right
left because I was so good.
Was this your first open mic, and you were oh man, this is what comedy is like?
This was
up.
definitely my first month.
Okay.
So yeah, it was rough. And it was Bobby's first ever set.
Oh.
Bobby went up after me to the same empty room.
Wow.
So, but he said he enjoyed it. So.
Nice. I also have 2 answers. One kind of like the blood drive. One time I did a show at a dog club. It was
Barf?
BarkBox. I did a show for BarkBox. It was outdoors, like the blood drive, so that's just bad. And yeah, it was a bunch of people with their dogs. And I think I did like 15 minutes on this show, but yeah, that was pretty interesting because, you know, the dogs weren't laughing, so like that's half the audience. Like
dogs can't eat grapes or laugh.
Yeah, so that's so that's half your audience who's already unresponsive. So, you know, it was interesting. I mean, it was a cool opportunity, but I probably would not recommend it. And then the second time, it was actually back at home in Cleveland. I did an open mic at a cafe for 4 people. 2 of them were the owners, and the other 2 were my parents. Who came. And that was, like, in my weird phase where I was telling a bunch of, like, dick jokes and stuff. Because I was like, oh, that's funny. I'm a female. I'm just going to talk about dirty stuff. So that was fun. My parents actually had a good time, though. But it was super awkward. But...
Oh, man, I like to imagine now in this universe that your parents were also at Ian's set. And they just go to these, they look for bars, empty bars where people are performing stand-up, and they just turn their backs.
Yeah.
I want to, like, because we talked a little bit about bad open mics last time, too. I'm just curious about, like, what the open mic, like, vibe is in Columbus.
For me, I think open mics vary so greatly in quality, and they're never as good as a show. But you can have very good open mic performances, and then most of them are bad at any given time. And then there I'm not going to mention any specifically, but there are rooms that are consistently very bad, and there are rooms that are consistently very good, and it's just based on like partly just the architecture of the building is just not well suited for comedy, and then also like the type of audience that shows up, and if you know day of the week, what time it is.
There's a lot of variables you can't control.
Yeah. Really, only my set is what I can control.
Yeah.
And so, it's almost nothing.
Yeah, I mean, open mics are great. You know, experience, they do vary in quality. There's probably like 1 per week around here that's worth consistently going to. But, I mean, it's free stage time. And, you know, like... the Columbus comedians, like, most of the comedians on the scene are cool, you know? Like, as a female, like, yeah, like, some guys, like, try to, like, hit on you or whatever, so that's annoying, but, you know, like, most of them, like, respect you and see you as, like, a comedian, not just, like, as, like, another, like, female at the bar, so, overall, it's been, like, a really good, experience for me, at least in Columbus, with open mics and that scene.
I've never been hit on, but it's a great feeling when strangers will tell you, you know, hey, nice set or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's real nice.
Yeah, that is good.
It's a nice ego boost.
Yeah. Have you, because this has happened to me, I think, twice now. Have you ever been recognized on campus for doing stuff, like, through Buckeye Stand-Up? Because I've been, like, after we did our first show, somebody's like, hey, it's the guy from the show! And I was like, that's me! And then I skateboarded away. And have you ever had one of those interactions before?
I've been recognized a couple times, mostly by friends of other comedians that go to the shows because they're their friend, you know. But I also got recognized, like, last week, 1 week ago today, by the blood drive organizer guy. My worst side. He's like, hey, you're the comedian guy, and it was like, wait a second, I know you. You're the guy who made me perform for chili people. You know?
Yeah, I think I was there when he saw you. Yeah, I've been recognized before. People just say like, oh, I liked your set, or you were funny. It happened to me more often when I was first starting out. When like after the Mince show, I thought like it would happen.
Oh, you're gonna 700 people saw you, so you're gonna get recognized everywhere.
Because obviously all of campus was there. So no, but I think Ohio State's just so big.
You never know.
Yeah, like it doesn't happen that much.
See, I'm like the kind of person who will recognize other comedians, but like will not say anything.
I think that's a lot more common. It's like, who knows how many people will see me. And
I mean, there was the one time after our first show, we were having a back burner officer meeting, and we were all sitting at a table, and some girl was like, hey, you're the one guy from that one show, and she only recognized RG. And we were like, we're all here.
We were all also in that show.
So that was just funny. It was like, all right, cool. I know Harish gets a lot of it.
He gets a lot of love.
Yeah. But,
Oh, this is the classic question. What would you recommend to somebody who was new at stand-up?
Like us?
Yeah, what would you... Like, if you were talking to you... If you invented time travel and could tell yourself... That makes it a slightly more interesting question.
Man, I would tell myself to not let my... Because I have a big problem with, like, motivating myself to keep up with it, because it depends a lot. Like, stand-up helps me, like, with, like, dealing with stuff in my life, and, like, it's, like, a good, like, confidence builder, and it helps me, like, regulate my mood and stuff, but, like, it goes the other way, too. So if I'm just, like, if I'm, like, going through, like, a funk, then I, like, won't go out and stuff. So I guess I would tell myself to, you know, just, like... Because there was, like, a long period of time where it was over this past summer where I did not do stand-up at all, really, and I had the time, and I could have been working on stuff, but I didn't just because I wasn't in the right mental state. So I guess I would just tell myself, just, like, you know, like, it's actually going to make you feel better, like, just keep doing it and keep working on stuff because, you know, it's something that you really like to do. So.
I think I have the opposite problem in that since I started doing stand-up in Columbus 7 months ago, I contributed 80% of my mental energy into doing stand-up. And if I could go back, I would say, hey, maybe work harder at school. But, like, advice-wise, I think just, like, just tell a lot of jokes, because then that's just how you get better. It's like practice, but, yeah, honestly, I would say work harder being an engineering student. That's reading.
Yeah. I feel that. I would go back in time and tell myself to not do that Woody's open mic that one time.
Oof.
I like the Woody's open mics.
Shout out to...
Shout out to OUAB for ruining comedy.
Shout out to the free nacho bar at the open mic, taking all of our attention.
Because we're collaborating with them on Monday.
Yeah.
Wait, you're collaborating with...
Well, it's more of like, we were contacted to bring the movie Tickling Giants here. Which is about, like, the... Oh, what country is he from? Iran?
I think so.
Version of, like, Jon Stewart, and he's, like, being oppressed by his government and all that stuff. And the director actually contacted the Sundial asking if we wanted to screen it, and I was like, yeah. And then I was like, hey, OUAB, want to help? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, what? So...
Oh, man, did they take all the credit for it, too?
Well, see, the Tickling Giants people made all the things for the event, and so they've only had contact with me, so technically the Sundial's getting all the credit.
Smart.
And, like, the Eventbrite page, it says, like, Tickling Giants, like, Sundial Humor Magazine, so OUAB doesn't really get all the credit.
They don't get their greedy little paws all over.
No, but they did book the space and are providing refreshments and stuff for us, so that's cool.
Sweet. Free Coca-Cola products.
Yeah. Well, now everyone
Can't wait for a nice can of Sprite.
Well, now everyone hates Pepsi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We were ahead of the curve here at Ohio State.
I haven't seen the ad, but I just know everyone hates Pepsi now.
We were talking about that in the group chat, in the group meet today, and I was saying that only loyal OSU students would be fine if police beat protesters with cans of Coca-Cola, but not Pepsi.
Do you want to do a 10 out of 10?
Let's do a 10 out of 10. And you know what? Since they're so outside of the hearing range of our normal 10 out of 10s, I think we'll do a classic 10 out of 10. That way, we know it'll be set. We don't necessarily need to do a new one. So 10 out of 10 is a game we play on the podcast. So in your head, imagine the perfect significant other and a romantic partner. Whoever they are, whatever gender
you don't
they
have
are.
to tell us.
It doesn't matter. That's not the game. It's us learning your perfect partner, and then they're like, "Hey, I've got a friend Steve who's really cool."
I remember the one time Adam was like, "Why don't we all go around?" I'm like, "No, we're not gonna.
We're not going to say what our ideal partner is." And then so they're perfect for you in every way, but they have one fatal flaw. So the 10 out of 10 but comes in. So previous examples have been 10 out of 10, but they have cups for hands. Or a 10 out of 10, but they have peanut butter for hair. And then you can ask me questions. Anything I say is true about that person. And then when I stop questions, anything I say about that person isn't true. And you have to decide whether you would still go with it through this weird thing or not.
Does that make sense?
Do I have to think of the butt, or you think of the butt?
I've got the butt.
Okay.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes, no, we're not throwing you into this hot chamber. Unless you just have one offhand.
Wait, so 10 out of 10, you think of the butt, and then
You have to decide whether the flaw is worth it.
So part of that is you're investigating, like, okay, like for the peanut butter for hair, is like, does it grow back? Is it a Santa Claus situation?
Okay.
So this is a classic one. This is actually not my own. This is from Backburner member and Sundial member, Philly Fresh. 10 out of 10. But they are afraid to go downstairs.
Well, can't you just have, like, an elevator in the house?
Yeah.
You'd have to just be rich enough to.
You just have to always be rich enough. And when you go to other places, if they're not ADA compliant,
what about ramps?
You can go upstairs. You just can't go downstairs.
Oh, are the escalators down the stairs?
If they stop, yeah. So they might be a little bit hesitant. You might have to persuade them to go.
Are they willing to go to therapy about their phobia?
Yes, but it's a long shot. It would be a Nobel Prize winning psychiatrist. Because you can win Nobel Prize in psychiatry.
Ramps.
Ramps? It depends on the angle.
Okay, what's the appropriate angle that they'll go down?
We'll go 45.
I don't think there are any ramps that are 45 degrees.
Basically, they won't go to a skate park. They're not into skateboarding.
Yeah, it's not a great ramp.
No.
No, I think anyone that's 10 out of 10 but won't go downstairs, I think it's an automatic yes from anyone.
Ooh, you don't want to make an automatic yes. They could also, if you get them to go downstairs, they'll praise Hitler. You don't want to lock in your answer.
What if I just carry them downstairs every time? Like, that's so weird.
Oh.
They'd be very nervous though the entire time. They'd be like, "Don't trip, do not trip down these stairs." Imagine if the elevator broke in the Empire State Building. How fucked you would be.
Yeah,
also, like
it's the window washer thingy.
You could just have a 1-story house.
I wouldn't be rich enough to afford a 2-story house.
Right.
You would
even in this fantasy scenario. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking of elevators and fuck that.
Yeah, just get a ranch house.
Yeah, those are fine.
Yeah.
Also, if worst comes to worst, I can just own the entire top floor of my house, and so I have personal space for, like, because they can't go up there.
Well, they can
go up there.
They can't come back down.
They just can't come down. So because that could be another problem, is that they could come back up. Yeah, they'd be like, or a cow.
What about, interesting, what about fireman poles?
Fireman poles.
Like,
yeah.
slide down the pole.
I know what you're talking about. Oh, I would say
it's
yes.
Not
it's not
angle.
stairs. It's not stairs. No, it's greater than 45 degrees. It's 90 degrees.
What about a slide?
45 degrees.
A 44 degrees slide.
But if it's a 45-degree slide, though, they're fine.
Oh, perfectly. Not even thinking about it.
Wait, so they can't go down a pole?
If it's more than 45 degrees.
So if the pole is 45 degrees.
They can just, like, huddle down and slide down.
What about, like, the single step that, like, goes into buildings or whatever?
They can go up it.
So they...
But they can't go down it.
Okay. So even, like, how tall does the step have to be?
I was gonna say, like, if you had, like, an SUV or something, getting out of the car.
If you can't get an office chair up it, like, by pushing up against the, like, ridge, if you can't get an office chair to get up it, using just normal pushing it, then it's a stair.
That's so low.
I know. They have a high standard for stairs. And what constitutes going down.
Well, technically, a low standard for stairs.
Can they go down the stairs if they, like, scoot on their butt?
Ooh.
Because that's what...
What if they get a mattress and slide down it? Like,
that's
like
the only way. That's the only way they'll go downstairs, because you convince them they're in the universe.
Of Princess Diaries.
You have to convince them that they're in Princess Diaries too.
You have to, like, hire Anne Hathaway or whoever that is.
And a bunch of other princesses. Because there are a plethora of princesses in that scene.
Just make them wear a crown.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
You guys solved the stair problem. Congratulations.
Or the only issue is, like, it's the small stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring matches everywhere.
Yeah, but each time you would have to convince them that they were in Princess Diaries 2, Return of Jafar. That's a movie universe I want to see come together. Aladdin,
in the Princess Diaries.
That's like literally little Lauren's dream.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the Return of Jafar movie was like always my favorite. Like we would go down to the movies to go, and I would always rent it out every time.
I didn't know that movie existed.
It's
That was just a meme.
No, there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
Isn't it Prince of Thieves? Is the third?
Oh
one?
no, that's the one I loved. No,
Yeah,
I don't know why. I just love Disney sequels that no one else likes.
Any other questions about Stair Person? Added detail is that they're afraid. That's the only reason they won't go down.
They're just afraid.
They're just real
afraid of heights. So flying?
No, that's not going downstairs.
Unless are they afraid of heights?
No, unless in order to get off the airplane, you have to go down those stairs.
So you can
on the tarmac.
Oh, that's...
They're not the president, so I don't think it's going to be a problem.
For the first time ever, that I had to get out of a plane outside.
It should be noted that Lauren was just recently nominated for president, so...
Technically, I am a president.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we went to Florida, and like we had to go out the stairs outside, and I was like, what is this?
And you're like, good thing I'm not scared of going
Good thing
downstairs.
I'm not going... There was a ramp, though, so that was...
Yeah, you'd have to get out the emergency slide.
Yeah.
You'd have to make them inflate that for them to get off the airplane.
I'm sure if you make a big enough scene,
Yeah.
Delta would do that for you.
Oh, yeah.
Just to make it a news story.
Mm-hmm. Gets to get sweet viral marketing.
Any other final questions?
Any other? All right, cool. So what? We'll just go in a counterclockwise circle. Ian, what would your answer to this be?
Yes or no?
Yes or no? Would you or won't you?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
For sure.
Also, I have a girlfriend right now, so
Ooh.
that's who I was imagining if she's listening.
There you go. Saving face. Saving face.
Yeah, I would have to say yes if they're perfect in every other way except for the stair thing.
Mm-hmm. That's the premise of the
That's
game.
almost
so
like
you got
Ad's
it.
character.
Yeah.
Almost the positive when you think about it.
Yeah. It's the fun thing about that.
At least we
That
haven't had
drives
someone
some-
ruin the game for us in a
Yeah.
while. Normally people defunk it.
Yeah.
I'm a yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a last time too.
I think I was too. Except for the fact that I like going downstairs. Like, it's a fun thing you can do for yourself.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
No.
Have you seen these videos? I feel like an old person in a news show. Have you seen these videos?
About stairs?
About
these new things.
I saw
called
a few
stairs.
videos of these people in inline skates skating downstairs. Like, that's the new way to amp up the sport, is by going downstairs on your inline skates. And they're like ramping down and doing like slaloms down the stairs. I'm like, guys, just start skateboarding instead. It's a lot more popular. You don't have to do this to yourself.
As you rub your beard.
Yeah, it's like,
Guys, start skateboarding.
guys, come on, just do it already.
Yep. That's all for 10 out of 10. Unless
No,
anyone
that's it.
has anything else.
Nobody? Any objections from the back? Anybody? Studio
Should we
audience.
ask the people yelling in the
Yeah,
room?
the audience can probably hear them. Well, let's just go on to go plugs. So Ian, plugs.
4/12, Wednesday, which will be soon, based on the release of this podcast. I'm performing at the Funny Bone Comedy Spotlight. Funniest person in Columbus, search 7:30 at the Funny Bone in Easton. And you should come and clap for me so I can advance, like Evelyn did.
Yeah!
Woo!
Advancing.
Do a lot of those. Do a lot of woos. Yeah.
How long does this, does that last?
Let's see. I think there's 4 round ones, right?
Mhm.
And there's 2 round twos shows, like 2, and then 1 final.
Yep.
And so I hopefully will be in the next round with Evelyn.
Will they ever not be on Wednesdays?
Not.
Great.
Yeah.
That's when our Sundial meetings are.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
But tell your friends.
I'm
Tell
also
your
performing tonight. Retroactively, people can come see me when they hear this in the past.
Oh yeah, me too.
Guys, alright, if you hear this and then you also have a time machine.
Once again, it
Very
came up in the last podcast too. If you have a time machine, go back and watch it.
I had a.
Yeah, and then the Great Friday show, obviously.
Yeah.
See that.
We didn't mention that at all.
What?
Except for at the beginning.
Oh, oops. Well, we're mentioning it now.
Comedy is all about variety.
Mhm.
And you'll never find more variety than in the variety show.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's a variety of
Of
comedy,
comedy.
as Lauren likes to say.
Anyways. Any other ones?
Evelyn?
Wait, this is airing on Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
Okay, so yeah, variety show Friday, the Great Friday Show, like Ian mentioned. I'm not on it, but Ian is, and he's hosting, so you should go. And then, April 21st is Buckeye Standup's last Donato's show, our monthly free show. It's the 420 plus 1 show.
So high, we were a day late.
Yeah.
Nice.
So you should come to that. Don't actually bring your bongs though, because we'll probably get disbanded as a club. But you can hide them and smoke after, so that's cool. And then on May 2nd, I am opening for Women Have Options Ohio. Their quarterly Columbus Stands Up for Choice show to raise money for Women Have Options, which is a pro-choice group in Columbus. So that should be a lot of fun if you're progressive and like to laugh. So you should come. I think that's it.
Also on May 2nd, I am taking my chemistry final.
Oh.
So if you want to just go watch
if you want to go watch me for 40 minutes,
Yeah.
cry, then
Sweat.
go to
Profusely.
that.
I'm gonna go.
to its final.
Yeah.
Fun time. Is there a
Is there an applause meter?
Yeah. Will that help you?
Like as he's turning it in, like yay!
And once I bubble in B. Oh yeah!
Oh, I love when he does this. My
Oh,
he did this in the album.
This is a good bit.
Yeah, go watch a chemistry test and then come see me promote the killing of unborn children.
Yay! I think I have to write a paper at that time. If you wanna, wait, you do too. It's the same class.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, James.
Today I am going to actually plug something. The variety show, we already talked about it.
When is it? Where is it?
It is the 14th at 7:30 at Independence Hall on the 14th. I think I said 14th twice, but hey, don't forget that. And then also, back burner, we have our senior show, our last show of the year, the 22nd on a Saturday. That'll be in the Union in the Round Meeting Room. Doors are at 7:30.
Yeah, those would be my exact same plugs. So I'm gonna...
actually, June, sometime
right, never
between
mind, I guess.
June 23rd and 25th, see our improv group,
Don's
Don's Ghost, perform at Del Close Marathon.
Hell yeah. We
So-
tricked them
We tricked UCB.
into letting us perform. So yeah, I mean, if you want to go to New York,
Just to see us perform 15 minutes of mediocre improv.
you can. Yeah.
I realized I forgot to actually mention the times or locations for any of my plugs.
Yeah, go
but
ahead.
I don't think anybody's actually gonna go. So,
They might. Only comedy people listen to these.
well, the Donato's show is at 7:30 in the Donato's basement.
On High and Framps.
Yeah.
France.
And then the Women Have Options show is at Ace of Cups, and it starts at what time? Does it start? 7:30 as well. So.
And when is your exam?
I believe it's not 8:15.
Cool.
In the PM.
Ooh.
Okay, so we'll see your set, and then we will just lift back. Right?
Yeah, because I'm on first.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
perfect. I'm doing 7
You
minutes.
looked
right
at me
top.
so weird, and then you're like, that wouldn't work, and it did.
It did work.
This very plausible thing where we'll go from a set to a chemistry exam for audience purposes.
So yeah, the variety show, Del Close Marathon, senior show, but also, if you want to see more comedy, but, you know, on a website form, go to sundial.osu.edu. If you have any 10 out of 10s or questions or, I don't know, whatever, you can email us at thesundowmagazine@gmail.com or tweet at us at thesundowOSU or the same handle on Instagram and I believe Facebook. I literally never know what to say to end it.
If you want to see grainy footage of my previous stand-up sets, you can go on my YouTube channel, Ian Gray Comedy.
You put what?
I used to record my sets and put them on YouTube.
How many are up there?
I think 5.
Wow.
So
Ooh.
I have 0. So
I think like if you add all the views of those 5 videos, I think you get 4 views. So there's at least one that has no views.
And were they you?
Yes, they were me while like watching, editing it.
So,
making sure it uploaded correctly. I've got a few videos like that.
Alright, that's it. I don't know.
Let's improv sentence this ending.
Alright.
So
there
we
go.
There's
a
podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Alright, bye everybody.
Bye.
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 Our guests said bye. They don't usually say bye.
They don't normally say bye. It's only just us.
They usually just leave. 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 Leave.